You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Are you ready to learn the 3 secrets to launching a successful podcast? Hi, I'm Bill, a recent client of the Podcast Mogul. If you've been thinking about starting a podcast but aren't sure where to begin, he's got you covered. He is hosting a free webinar where he will share the 3 secrets that can help you launch, grow, and monetize your podcast without any fancy equipment or technical headaches. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot now and let him help get your podcast off the ground.
Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the Podcast Mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I am, of course, your host with the most, the Podcast Mogul himself, Phil Better. And today I am happy to have 2 entrepreneurs that are changing the world for startups, helping them figure out how to find investors with HeyEveryone.io. I got Nikita and Tina Blanc. How are you guys doing? Did I pronounce the last name right? Because it's French looking.
It's Blanc.
Blanc? I thought so. I was like, how French am I going to go with this? Because I'm in Montreal, so Blanc is
no worries at all. You did a great job.
Thank you. So the first voice you heard was Nikita, and then we have Tina over here. Tina, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us. Very excited to be here.
Awesome. So we're going to start off. I have a nice little intro that I have for you guys. I'm going to read it later. But if you guys can just introduce yourselves so my audience can just get to know you guys quickly. Like an elevator pitch about who you guys are. We can start with whoever wants to jump in first.
I can go first, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Sure. We're entrepreneurs. We started 4 businesses, 2 of which we exited. Our previous startup, like all the businesses we started together. Our previous startup was called Challenge App. It was number 4 most popular social app in the United States back in 2020. And together with Tina, we run a podcast show for entrepreneurs, which is called The Fuck Ups. The idea behind the show is to kind of like success is everywhere, right? On LinkedIn, Facebook, like if you're trying to start to launch a business, you just read all those success stories and you instantly want to replicate them. But the problem is that you can't replicate success twice. So we thought, hey, maybe like we can talk about failures instead, because that's how you learn about not making the same mistakes from other entrepreneurs. So, we're also alumni of the top 1 accelerator in Asia, which is called Orbit Startups, run by SOSB with over $1 billion in assets. Yeah. So that's a short blurb about us.
That's insane. So my question is, how did you decide to jump in? Like, what was your why to jump into the world of entrepreneurship? Because we were speaking just a little bit before, and your tip is I love your tip because it's going counter everybody else's. But why did you guys decide to jump into the world of entrepreneurship?
As for me, I was think about this question, and I decided that I'm an entrepreneur with our first startup called Challenge App, and it was 2014. And I just after the university law faculty, and Nikita told me, "Why will you go to this job? It's maybe it's not the aim for us. Maybe we will try something different." And I just think, because I thought about my parents. They told me go to this job. It's a really cool government job. You will have like a minister with your brains. It will be cool. It will be a great salary. You will do it. And I just took part in it, and I have different interpretation, and I have different practice in these departments. And then I decided that maybe I will try something else. And we just tried to make it without any mentors, without any help. We just make our own story with our project, and it was really hard. After all these years that we made our project, I decided that it was really really harsh time in our time, in our TFA, and we will talk about I think later in your show how it was.
Yeah, it's for me, I would think that it's more of a personality thing because you know what risk tolerance is?
Yeah.
Typically, entrepreneurs have like very low risk or should I say high?
It would be more high because we take in that risk. We're like willing to jump into a shark infested water sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So we typically, like, physically with our bodies, we don't feel that sort of risk. And whenever we like hang out with our friends, we're not entrepreneurs, and we ask questions like why, how would you think of doing that? Because that doesn't really seem possible, or it implies that you won't be able to live your life comfortably the way that we do it. Like, why would you choose that path? I mean, like, that's something is wrong probably with your brain, that your risk tolerance is off, like way off. You just do whatever you feel right. So I guess that was that moment for me.
I love it. So when you started Challenge app back in 2014 or 2014, correct?
14 finish.
When did you come up with the idea? Like, what was the point of the Challenge app? Like,
Right.
What sparked the idea behind it?
Yeah. So like with many of our businesses, we started it as like one thing, and then it transformed into something bigger. So we started Challenge app because we thought that it would be really fun to kind of have this ledger of challenges around the world, because you have like the Guinness Book of Records, and you have other stuff, but you don't have like this social network where people would share their challenges with each other. And then it transformed into something bigger, because if you look at TikTok, the
algorithm,
not the algorithm, the creators economy of TikTok.
Okay.
The dispersion of income that TikTok creators are getting is not normal. So it doesn't look like that, right? It looks more like, well, should I put it like that? It looks more like that. So a small percentage of people get the whole bank. And on Challenge app, we were able to build an algorithm the way that the curve would be close to normal. And so that was amazing, because like we gave opportunity to very talented people make some money off of their challenges, off of their talents right away, like the first day from logging in. And that was amazing. So again, we started as one thing, and then it led to something another. I feel the very same way about the current business that we're doing, by the way.
Yes, which is HeyEveryone.io, which is talking about finding angel investors or investors for their businesses that need it. So are you guys focused strictly on the digital side, or are you also looking at startups that are in the more physical oriented places?
It really doesn't matter. So the thesis that we have is that entrepreneurs and founders have this very cool tool in their possession, which is called investor updates. The problem is that they're not using it right. Investor update is sort of I'm just gonna briefly walk you through
Go right ahead.
Yeah, through the subject, because investor update is something that you send to your investors. If you have investors, or if you're looking to raise to your potential investors, that's like a email about your company's progress for the last month. Like, what have you been up to? Like, what was your product? What does your product development look like? What was your revenue? What was your product?
Pretty much a report card each month for the business to the people who have invested. That's what the report. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the thing is that entrepreneurs do not utilize it the right way, so they don't send it, or they don't share it with the right people, or they forget about sharing it consistently. So there's so many things we can talk about here, and we found out that we can actually build a tool that helps entrepreneurs and founders around the world. Doesn't matter if the business is digital or hardware, to utilize it, to fully utilize it, and that way increase your chances of further fundraising, and not only fundraising, but like doing great deals, hiring great people, attracting great partners, etc.
I love it. And did you create this because you guys were having issues using that investor update thing? Was this born because you're like, look, we're having problems keeping track of this because we're building so many things, and there's like, when you're an entrepreneur, when you're first starting, you have like 95 hats that you have to wear before you start, like you hiring the right people to take some of those hats away. Was this a tool that you guys created for yourselves, and then we're like, shit, this can be good for other people, and then jumped into creating this new business?
Yeah, when when we were doing Challenge Out, we were doing it for like several years, maybe 6 or 6. Was it 6, Tina, or 7?
6 to 7, because if it's 2014 to 2020, we'll say it's 6. We'll give you 7 years. We'll say 7 years.
Yeah, because we started cooking something, I think, like early 2014. We started brainstorming. Yeah, let's give it 7. So while we were building this, we personally wrote, like, manually, more than 300 updates, spanned over 1,000 man hours on this, like, because that's actually a really, unpleasant job of a founder to create those updates, because you have to like extract data from millions of data sources where you track metrics. You have to describe those metrics with text. You have to build a story. You have to go back to your task manager and see what your teams were up to last month. And, that's just a hassle that you don't want to have. And we figured out, like, back in 2019, I do remember, I started utilizing AI in my updates. So I trained an existing AI algorithms on my updates that I was sending to create new ones. But that didn't really make sense, because that AI didn't have access to anything. So I would say that while building our previous company, we already had something cooking in our brain for our next company. So right now we're utilizing AI. Right now we're actually using it in the way it should be used. We're getting access to your task managers. Like, not that you're giving us access to your task manager that we process with various AI algorithms to build a story for you. We do a data to text AI processing. So, it's kind of funny, actually, because I wasn't thinking of automating any of those things, but it just naturally came to reality.
Yeah, what's interesting is a lot of the entrepreneurs that I've been blessed to interview on the show, they say most of their secondary businesses, or the businesses that come after, started with their first business. Like,
right?
You guys were like, we need a tool to automate this, so we're going to start using it. And then you're like, wait, this is actually really useful. How can we make this bigger?
Yeah, exactly. Was it the same moment for you when you started podcasting?
It actually would happen for me. I've been podcasting for about 6 years, and only 2020 did I decide, hey, I'm going to start trying to make money on this. And then you start realizing, wow, there's a lot of businesses that can come out of just podcasting, because you have teaching people to podcast, you have teaching people how to make money on podcasting, how to grow podcasting. Then you have the editing, the cover art, creating your SOPs, creating your funnels and all this stuff. So like business, like when you start a business, you're like, wow, there's a lot of other businesses that can be used. And then you get tools where you're like, I use automations for my tools. Like when you guys were coming through the system, it was like those emails were all automated. The social media posts were all automated by tools on the internet. Cause I'm like, I don't have time, because I get inundated with like hundreds of interviews to come on the show. So if I spend like every single day just going, I wouldn't have time to interview people.
Exactly. And that's our thesis. You have to do what you're best at, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have to spend time because you get buried with all those unnecessary tasks that can be automated. So I do remember writing updates, and I did that on Fridays, and I do remember having literally no Fridays, because we did like weekly updates for some time. And that was, I don't know. You can imagine.
Just the sound effect you just did. Just like, no. Just thinking back, if I ever have to go back to, no, never again. I'm using Hey Everyone, because never again. And I like how you said you save 600 hours a year of your time. Now, I'm going to take a guess. That's probably an understatement for the amount of time that you saved just by creating this thing, just from having to figure out how to do weekly updates. So that's 600. Is that like an average you're saying?
You have to be a nerd, really a nerd, to do weekly updates. Most of the companies, they do monthly updates. And so the idea is that you, as a founder, not only you spend your own time, but you do spend a lot of time with your employees, because you constantly bug them like, hey, what's up with marketing? You need to give me that data. No, the data seems to be off. You need to give me another data. Same for development, same for, I don't know, product, or you name it. Like, you constantly bug your teams to give you proper data, and they do their own reports, because they do, like, we used to have like weekly meetings. We do have them now, but like, since we're only launching the alpha this month, we don't have a lot of product data to kind of analyze. Mm-hmm. Back when we were building Challenge app, we had like weekly meetings, and all of those departments, they had to come up with reports, so we would have like an instant 1 hour long conversation about where the company's headed, what is the status of all metrics and stuff. Yeah.
I love it. Tina, now you went from a relatively safe job working for the government or a major corporation into building entrepreneur stuff. And it's going against what your parents kind of told you, go for the safety net and that. How have they felt with you jumping in through multiple businesses being built with Nikita?
I think that they see what we have achieved, and they're proud of us. But sometimes even I think after this world situation and about our location, some issues with these countries, and new project, they again ask me, maybe it's like brain want to get your family in safe. I don't know. I don't know how they think. Maybe it's like an old formation, maybe in some way, that they want that somebody can take care of you. Not. It's strange for us, for I think for our generation, but they think that will okay, and they can offer you some different ways. You can do this one, but I think they can't even now imagine what we do. Really.
Yeah, it's really hard actually to explain to your parents.
Every time I say what I do, I think that she thinks, my mother, that I'm blogger, and that's all. Pictures. I make pictures of my daughter on the horse, and that's my job. That's all.
Yeah, that's just a part of the global brand awareness that you're.
Yeah. And that's, again, she asked me, So, and when you move to USA and why, and you just again, I say, okay, let's move to another, to another theme, yeah.
No, yeah. It's of course your parents, when you're entrepreneurs, when you go into this entrepreneurial world, your parents are worried about you because they just want you to be safe, like whatever it is.
Exactly.
And entrepreneurship, when you're first starting, is not that safe because you're making the biggest mistakes possible because you're learning. I'm curious, what are some of the mistakes or one of the bigger mistakes that you learned, or from your podcast, the fuck ups the fuck ups, right? Yeah. That you've learned from other amazing entrepreneurs that you've been able to talk to, like some of the lessons that you learned from their mistakes or some of that you learned.
Well, I would say, sorry?
Yeah, Tina, let's hear from you. Let's hear what you would want to say.
I just remember the most cheapest thing that I do, the most, it's lie detector that I make for my employees.
Lie detector. Oh, yes.
Oh, this is good. All right. So if you guys can't see, they're both literally rolling on the floor laughing over this lie detector. I'm really interested in this. This is a story that I want to hear about. What is this lie detector?
Oh, it's awful.
I even don't remember that.
I remember that it's awful. And someday we lost our computer, laptop, and it was my assistant had this Apple laptop, and this disappeared, and we didn't know who took it. Maybe some people who just go through our office, and I think, oh, I know how I will solve this this issue. And I took a man, and he just came with his case. And we just took one person that we just have an idea that she might took because she didn't have a laptop.
I see.
There was an investigation made, you see?
Yeah, it was an investigation. And when she said that she didn't took it, and lie detector just noticed some
irregularities.
Yeah, but the worst thing that in the end of this process, that he didn't tell me if she took it. Oh no, I don't know. So
yeah,
we just
embarrassing.
Took her in this awful situation, and
no result.
Yeah, I think we were 25. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we were 25, but working with those people afterwards, after that case happened, sitting in the very same place and just normally discussing whatever business you're making.
Oh,
I don't know what they think about me.
Cringe.
I don't know.
That is interesting. Wow.
That was not the biggest fuck up though. That was the most cringy one.
Yeah, that's a cringeworthy one. Oh, the culture was very much shifted that day in the business. I can guarantee you that. Wow. So,
oh shit.
From a missing laptop, we've gotten a lie detector test and then an awkward situation afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. The biggest fuck up, though, I would say, so the challenge app was suspended from the App Store in 2020 when we became number 4 on the App Store. That case was a great learning because it teaches you that you have to be in control of your revenue, and you don't have to build your business the way that so someone could cut off your revenue stream and you will simply die, which happened to us. And that's the biggest fuck up because that cost us a $15 million company.
Damn, that's a painful mess up, but very educational too, because you learned don't let other people be in control of the revenue stream. Always have your way of continuing.
But I don't know, that case really can be solved. Because that applies to all businesses that rely on their apps. as revenue sources. So but like the problem is bigger. Like I'm gonna tell, like if you don't mind it, I'm gonna share that.
You
story.
are free to preach,
right.
sir, on your pulpit, sir. This is your show. You're educating the entrepreneurs of tomorrow. So you're helping them not make the same mistakes or have the same issues you face. So please go ahead.
Yeah. So the story was that we did great. Challenge app was amazing. We gave opportunity to a lot of people to earn a couple of dollars using their talent. That was very helpful. We started getting the growth, the hockey stick growth, and we even raised capital, Series A. And at the same moment, I got a call from Apple saying, "Hey, we're actually removing you next week." Bye. All right. So why don't you tell me what is wrong exactly? They were going like, "Hey, so when you signed with Apple Developer Program, there was a paragraph, a term that allows Apple at its sole discretion remove any of your products without any notice and any particular reason." So
I love Apple.
Yeah, that applies to Google as well.
Oh, Google has it. Okay, good to know.
Yeah. So we had no idea what to like. Imagine you are in that type of situation. What exactly would you do? Because like you have the team, you have to feed a lot of families, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we started iterating. We started changing something in our product so that we would be fine. But like we had no idea what exactly to change. And we iterated and iterated every week. But every build that we were sending to Apple was rejected instantly. And like we spent 3 months on that. And somewhere in between, they gave us a little hint that apparently Apple doesn't allow any apps that have user-generated content in it.
I'm just going to jump in here and say,
I think you might have a question, right?
I have a few. There's a few apps. Some of them are big. That just
I know like one, right?
Just one. I know of one that just generally uses user-generated content or
So I gave them the very same work.
Projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can discuss another projects because we will talk with you only about your project.
And that's the protocol. You can't really discuss other apps. Well, so unfortunately, there was nothing we could do. I have this friend who has a friend who has a friend, and that last guy invented App Store review. So I got intro to that guy, and like he's a great person. He was actually doing it for I don't know how many years, a lot of years. He was working with Steve Jobs. He's back from that old team. The guy scaled App Store review from 4 team members up to 400 team members. So like
he's a good guy to have in your pocket or on your on speed dial if you need when it comes to the App Store
exactly.
or in life in general.
Exactly. But like that was our last exodus, so to speak. So I got intro to the guy. He reviewed our app. He said, "Nikita, personally, I don't have any issues with your app. The story sounds a bit off. Sounds a bit like a bullshit, right? Just a tiny bit.
It kind of smells like it than sounds like it."
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it sounds like it, if it looks like it, and if it smells like it, probably it is.
Yeah, Microsoft's famous duck analogy. If it sounds like a duck, walks like a duck, it's got to be a duck, right?
Exactly. So he sounds like an easy case. I will definitely help you. So he reached out to Tim Cook and Phil Schiller. He asked them if our app can be put back, and in an unpleasant form, they said that it's not possible. They didn't specify the reason, but they told that it's not happening. No way it's happening. So I got that message, and like next day we're firing our 13 people of our team.
Did you mention you just got this call while during you just talking with an investor?
Yeah, that was at the moment while we were raising our Series A. So we were getting commitments for $3 million Series A. We actually made it, and we had to put off all the deals. And that was another cringy moment, because like a week ago you were pitching like, hey, we're doing this amazing business. We're doing great. We're actually operationally profitable. We're growing like 20, 30, 40%.
Number 4 on the App Store. Everything's going great.
Yeah.
And the next week you're like, by the way, here's your money back. We're shutting the doors.
Mm-hmm. That was like no one would understand actually what was happening, and they were asking me the same questions all the time, and I just keep, up until today I keep telling the very same story. That feels weird, to be honest. Anyways, we like, that's how it ended. No one wants to invest in a company that was suspended from the App Store, because that doesn't give you any doors and any ways to scale anymore, right? Like someone would say, hey, why would you, like, you were on Google, right? Why couldn't you do, like, that's a case. They already had that on Apple. What's the chance they won't repeat that on the other store, right? Doesn't make sense.
For whatever reason.
For whatever reason, because like the problem is that they have no transparency in their guidebook or rules or whatever they call it. And they can typically apply whatever rules to whatever companies. But like if you're not too big to fail or too big to sort of have this media coverage.
Yeah, a massive fight with them in the news.
Yeah, so that happened with Epic Games, with Fortnite. That happened with TikTok back in 2020. There was a huge like idea of
it's still going now about because of the security concerns that there are.
Because like American citizens' data was transferred to China, and they were not uncomfortable about this, and we were trying to remove it. But like even like that sounds right, because
that sounds like a legitimate reason to remove an app off of it. It's like you're stealing data. You're just creating content for people to get paid for doing amazing stuff, like either completing challenges or whatever they're doing on the app. And then Apple was just like, no user generated, but we have YouTube over here, but we don't talk about YouTube. We don't talk about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or 90% of the social media apps that are out there.
Exactly. And that's the problem, I think. And that's why we were invited to join a coalition for app fairness that was founded by Epic Games, Spotify, Tinder, ProtonMail, and other amazing companies. So we joined forces with them. And like one of the achievements was that we were actually made to force Apple to cut down their 30% tax down to 15% for small developers who earn less than $1 million a year. That was like, at least like someone had to die in order for that to happen. So
hey, look, it sucks that your app was on a meteoric rise and got shuttered by Apple. But from the darkness of that, you guys helped change the industry, helped change the fact that Apple is a monopoly. Like it's an oligopoly with Apple and Google controlling the market with phones and the app stores and that. And so people like your story is probably one of 100 that have happened either on the Apple store or on Google's store where they're not fully transparent.
Yeah. And we were like, you're either too small for them to care or you're too big to fail. We were somewhere in the middle. So we weren't able to like leverage that media that some other companies did or like do anything else. So I think we did the best out of this situation.
I think you guys did amazing because you were able to, you even went to the head honcho. You were able to talk to the head honchos of the company and they were like, no. Then you're like, okay, what's the next step? Well, you teamed up with an organization, Epic, because they were having their own battle with both Google and Apple about having to pay additional charges on their games. And you were able to change the market. You were able to take on Goliath and, to change it for
Goliath.
You made them uncomfortable for a bit, and that's a big thing, especially for a company like Apple. You hit them where it hurts. They felt it, and now maybe they're going to be more mindful because they're like, we outnumber them. All the small companies outnumber the big guy, and so they have to remember that because we have to give them. We are like the companies, entrepreneurs that put the apps out there. If we take our apps off, they have nothing to give.
Yeah. Listen, I don't have any idea how to change that industry since that's a duopoly, because there are so many developers who rely on their apps as their main revenue source. And there's nothing you can do about this because everyone uses their phones. Mm-hmm. And like everyone talks about decentralization, this Web3 thing. All right, fine. But how do you do like that mass adoption everyone's telling, right? Everyone's talking about D-apps being launched to App Store and Google. App Store and Google, D-apps. That doesn't make sense. Hello, everybody. Doesn't make sense. Those are not decentralized platforms. They can delete your decentralized apps. Mm-hmm. That just, that pisses me off a little bit. So I don't really have any solution. Those guys build amazing platforms. Amazing phones, amazing stores, whatever. You use it, you know it. The problem is they're in power, so they can do whatever they want with your apps or with your products that you launch on their stores, and that's their right because they're private company, like they're public companies, but like they're have so
private. They're private. You have to purchase into to become an owner of the company.
Yeah,
they're for sale publicly, but you can't make the decisions until you buy into the company.
Yeah, there are just a small group of people who are making those decisions. And the thing is that until there's proper regulation, until governments can actually make them do less and force other developers, stick to their guidelines or at least regulate their guidelines. I mean,
or be transparent.
Or at least be transparent. That would be a huge issue.
Well, what's great is, and this is a nice little full circle with your company, HeyEveryone, you can companies that are looking to disrupt the game, who don't know anything about setting investor updates or how to keep their investors happy. They can use your product, and you never know. Maybe one of the companies that use your products will be the one that changes the game and makes it so that someone who makes it the next challenge app doesn't have to worry about getting kicked off from some very vague guideline that's a paragraph that's like super small deep inside the contract that says, hey, if we don't like your contact, we can kick you off for whatever reason.
Hopefully that happens. I mean, we're very, after that happened, we started, feeling very vulnerable to other entrepreneurs. And we started being started having this empathy towards other entrepreneurs because we've been through a lot of shit and we kind of feel the pain. So we want to help. What's the best way to help? You make the product that actually helps other people, helps other entrepreneurs. And we believe that we're building something that will be of value.
Oh, I already know it is of value because talking with entrepreneurs and just not even me being at that stage where I need to go get any investments, I can understand if this can solve 90% of the problems just for writing and keeping everyone updated so they're not on my back, it's an amazing tool.
Yeah, you actually have if you're doing proper, the problem with founders is that they don't have time to update their potential investors. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. They treat investor updates as a tool for their current investors. And when they start fundraising, they just run around the market and throw decks at their investors like, hey, my company is amazing. You should give me money. No, that's not the best way to do it. You have to build that relationship with your investor. That's like, because like, do you know how, that's actually funny. Do you know what's an average lifespan of a marriage in America?
Isn't it like 10 years now or something like ridiculously short?
It's 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
And do you know what's an average lifespan of a startup and investor?
I want to say 7 years.
It's 10 years.
Oh, it's 10 years.
Yeah.
I had them reversed, ladies and gentlemen.
Actually, like 3 years longer than a normal marriage. So you just, like, when you want to get married, you just don't run around the street and grab a random girl and say, hey, marry me right now. Right? You're not doing it.
Is that how it worked for you guys?
Yeah, but that worked for us. I mean, like,
you guys are just the exception to the rule, of course.
No, we met at school. We've been together ever since. I mean, no, like you have to build those relationships, right? You have to treat them the way that you would treat your husband or wife. So but like people ask me, how do you build those? That's very simple. You don't throw decks at your investors. You say, hey, do you want me to update you on our progress? I'm not asking, like, I'm just giving. You have to build that giving mentality before asking anything. And
I love it. It's the new economy of the world. It's the giving economy. It's
the giving economy, right? And like that's how the universe works. Like it's balance between giving and taking. Yeah. So anyways, you just ask that simple question, and there would be no investor who would say, no, I don't want. Everyone wants those updates. And once you start doing that and you're being consistent enough, like imagine who would get funding, a person who just came in there with a beautiful deck, or a person that they know for the last 6 months. They know their metrics, they know their progress, they know what they're headed. I mean, the answer seems obvious to me.
Oh, it's very clear cut who I would give my money to. Someone who's taking the time to show me, like, hey, look at the progress we're making from our business, or I'm keeping you updated. Here are the things. I'm always available. Versus someone I just met. Here, have a pretty deck, and it just tells me, I don't know if this is true. This is the first time. Versus I've been getting months worth of data from this company, and I know it's going to be worthwhile. It goes without saying who I'd probably invest with. We are coming to the end, and I hate this because I'm having such a fun time talking with you guys. I'm definitely going to have you guys back on to tell about the next big stage where you guys are like number one on the App Store. Wait, no, you guys aren't on the App Store. No, screw the App Store. We don't trust them anymore. I forgot about that. No, you guys are going to be, it's going to be massive. I can't wait. The next time you guys are on, I want to hear about all the great stuff that are coming, because you guys are just you're doing a round of funding now, right? Or you just finished a round?
No, we haven't raised so far. Okay. So the plan is we're launching our product. We're getting some traction, and we're raising funds afterwards.
There we go. Okay, well, definitely going to be sending this out to all my entrepreneur friends to show them that, like, hey, if you have a business that needs some investing, here's a great thing for you. Before we end, I have my one question, the spark question, to spark conversations in the world from Yes Theory and Seek Discomfort. Who are your role models?
Tina, you start first.
I think Tina's frozen. Yeah,
I know her answer. I actually know what she's going to say, but she kind of...
she looks a little frozen right now.
Right.
So we're good. Oh, it must be the internet disconnected. It's all right. So
I'm gonna answer for Tina.
There we go.
So she's really inspired by Gary Vee, as like millions of other people. Me personally, I'm inspired by Pavel Durov.
Interesting. Why are you why is Pavel? I can't even pronounce his last name. I'm not going to attempt.
We can say Pasha. Pasha is super
Pasha. Why does Pasha is a role model of yours?
Well, He's a ninja. Tina's back.
Tina's back. Tina.
Tina,
So-
I just said that your role model is Gary Vee. Is that right? Do you
What
hear
was-
it? I just
Yeah.
said that your role model is Gary Vee. Is that right?
Yeah.
Gary
In
Vaynerchuk.
the way how I see how can he talk to people, it's okay. I don't know him personally. Maybe some not good things there.
in the persona of what he presents to the public, we'll go with that. Because the question was, who is
But
your
in
role
public,
model?
Yeah, I like him.
Here we go.
Yeah, to me it's Pavel Bashadurov, because the guy's the ninja. He is 100% into the product, into building features. He's not into building the hype, although he does that great. But whatever products he builds, they're just amazing. Like you take VK, that was like one of the most tech advanced platforms, even given the fact that Facebook existed already. You take Telegram, you take Fragment, you take Teletype, you take Ton, right? Whatever those platforms are, both brothers, Durov brothers, Nikolai and Pavel, they're just, kudos to them. Thank you for existing.
I'm definitely going to be checking out. I knew about Telegram. I didn't know that they were the creators of it. So I'm definitely going to check out more of their stuff and learn more about them and maybe get them on the podcast, hopefully one day.
There's no way they I mean, those are ninjas, right? They're not doing interviews. They're not doing podcasts. They're not doing YouTube shows or anything.
Well, there's my challenge then. From the challenge.
Yeah, what you can do, actually, you can create a Telegram channel, grow your podcast on your Telegram channel, and maybe you can get him on Telegram, because the guy loves to be present only on his own platforms. Smart
man. Get people to come over to your platform so that to interact with you. It's a genius way. Nikita, Tina, I'm going to jump off the screen here. I'm going to let you guys have the last little bit. Tell us where we can come find you guys, how we can support you guys, and how we can get in touch with you for HeyEveryone.io. So the floor is yours.
All right. So it's not actually a rocket science, because you do have the name of the website in our name tag. It's HeyEveryone.io. You can reach out to us on LinkedIn. It's Nikita Blanc and Tina Blanc. Please come say hello. We're always open, always happy to have you. If you can leverage your investor updates, and if you want to leverage your investor updates, we're happy to give you a tool that does that amazing job. And yeah, just come say hi.
Yeah, we will be really glad to see you. Welcome.
Yes.
Awesome. So everybody who are listening here, I want to give a great thank you to both Nikita and Tina Blanc for being on the show, sharing their journey, telling us about how the Challenge app got kicked off, but it inspired them to grow another business even bigger. Guys, I can't thank you enough for being on the show and sharing your story.
Thank you, Phil. You did an amazing job. It was amazing talking to you. We had a lot of fun, and hopefully we can do it soon sometime.
Yes, for sure. And next time in person, so that we can actually meet in person. Ladies and gentlemen, my audience, you guys are amazing. Thank you again for listening. The show notes will have all the links to connect with Nikita and Tina. And again, remember to always invest in yourself.
Thanks for tuning in. Now it's time to take the next step. When you're ready to dive deeper into how to launch, grow, and monetize your podcast, Phil's got something special for you. Join him for a free webinar where he'll reveal the 3 secrets that have helped countless entrepreneurs succeed in podcasting. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot, and let's turn your podcasting dreams into reality.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.